Having a clean UI is critical for enjoyment and efficiency in World of Warcraft in 2024, The War Within, and I'd like to today address a few comments that came to me over the few past videos where people were complimenting my UI. Thank you very much, it's nothing special, but I'm very happy to talk you through my very basic, very minimalist UI. I will tell you why I arrange things the way I arrange them, and of course, yes, the abilities and placement of them is up to you, but it's more about the bars, it's more about what add-ons I use and why I've done it, and it differs between my classes and specs. I'm going to show you a melee and I'm going to show you a range. Right now we are talking about my Boomkin as my recent thing that I've reviewed. If you haven't checked my guide on the Boomkin, trust me, it's worth your while, especially if you're a bit bored and looking for something new to play. So shameless cross promotion of my other video. Let's take a look at my UI. Like I already said, I'm a minimalist. I like to see the least amount of information, more heads-up display style as much as possible. So front and center, not somewhere there on the outskirts. I don't critique you if you're playing like this and you're just such a pro that you know exactly where each button goes, but you wouldn't be watching this video about a minimalist UI if you were like that, would you? So going back to my UI, first of all, I always was a fan of Dominoes. I used to use Dominoes add-on. There is no need to use Dominoes add-on in 2024, in my humble opinion. We're not splitting hairs here. Maybe Dominoes does bits and pieces that standard UI doesn't do, but Blizzard has done a tremendous job uplifting the UI and evolving it even further, even since my previous video on this topic was published last year. They've done even further improvements to it, which make it even better. So standard UI is enough, my friends. What do we do? Again, it's not just about the tools, so the add-ons or the standard UI in this particular case. It's about the philosophy of it. Philosophy of it is very, very simple. I try to minimize the number of buttons that I press as a player, and I'd like to see all these key buttons both flaring up, kind of showing to me that they are ready, as well as just simply in front of myself, front and center, here on this central bar. That is the bar number 1. So all the bars are numbered in the standard UI. In case you didn't know that, when you sort of enter the editing mode, it will show you that all of these action bars are numbered. If you select one, it says action bar number 1, action bar number 3, action bar number 2. So that is what I'm referring to in this particular case. As you can see, you can play with it anytime. I don't need to talk you through absolute basics, just go and explore it. But in my opinion, it kind of has everything that you need to have. It's very, very simple. So the bar number 1 is the one that, especially for druids, transforms when you enter different forms, which is why it's important to have that number 1 here by default. All my other bars are not particularly well set up, abilities are not set up particularly well for the druid, simply because 99.9% of time I play in the Moonkin form. So that's why the core abilities are kept to the bare minimum. There are only 12 of them over here, and they are on this bar in the center. So that's how I arranged it. The secondary abilities, such as defensives and healing abilities, are on the sides. That is general philosophy, again speaking about philosophy. Actions in the middle, and either left or right, whatever rocks your boat. On the, let's say, left are my general utility, speed up, other kind of things, and on the right are my healing, defensives, and other things. For example, you may want to squeeze in trinkets. In some cases, I had to expand and make these bars a bit asymmetrical, increasing the size of one of the bars for one of my characters. I actually increased the number of rows and increased the number of icons, then to allow for extra click. And that click usually is not hot buttoned, hot keyed for me. I manually click things such as trinkets. I don't mind manual clicking occasionally, but everything else, obviously, I press with my fingers. At the very least, that's how I go. So again, editing mode. The frames are standard. I'm using standard frames. So my frame is on the left. The target frame is on the right. Focus frame is under the target frame. It's all still more or less in the framing of my line of sight, so that I can enjoy actually the game. It's not just a sci-fi experiment of sorts. I enjoy the game by looking ahead and can see the target, can see where I am, can enjoy my armor, can enjoy my look. And then my health, my own state is on the left. and my target state is on the right. That's what works for me. With these action bars, I already explained to you. Forms, stance bar is somewhere around here. I vary in terms of where I put it. Sometimes I alternate, but this is what I do. The extra abilities, unfortunately, is this oversized blotch. I don't know why Blizzard did it, and we can't change the size of it. That's one problem, but it's here on the left. The cast bar is less important to me because I reserve, so I used to have cast bar here above so that it's a bit closer to my line of sight and I can see exactly where that's at. But I, over time, decided that it's less important to me than having a little bit of space. Take a look at this, and it's important. A little bit of space between the feet of my character, yeah, Boomkin in this case, and the top edge of the bar. This space, my friends, is reserved for the weak auras. Weak auras add-on is wonderful. It's right here, and you can see that weak auras, my bars for the weak auras for this Boomkin, for example, are coming up as nice neat stack between my feet and the top of the action bar number 1. Makes sense? So that's how I personally visually allocate these things. Sometimes for some characters that need other indicators, I experiment also with vertical bars that go kind of here in this gap on the left and on the right. But this is a slightly less trivial situation. We are looking just at the basics, bare bones basics for you to understand your UI and be better at it. Weak auras is such a massive question on its own. I have separate groups and a massive amount of not loaded auras right now here. We can have a conversation separately, but you can already see I have Gyro's Blood DK tracker, BM Hunter tracker, custom Mage Tower Challenge one, Demo Log tracker. I have some custom ones that I'm inventing right now for Boomkin and testing them. They're working really, really well. And Affliction Warlock over here as well. That is sort of on my radar. That's to give you an idea that I'm not an expert, but I definitely experiment and play a lot with those. Now, that's Weak Auras. Weak Auras is obviously one of those add-ons I honestly cannot live without. I think that if 80% of everything can be achieved with standard UI, then 20% of the rest of it, okay, maybe 15, can be achieved with weak auras. And the 5% is achieved with the damage meter. I use details, and I'm not going to talk much about it. It's just the most basic add-on for you to make sure that you are doing adequate amount of damage. Why? It's not for EP in measurement. It's to make sure that you are adequate and to make sure that you can see, as a tank even, performance of your group. It's very important to have that add-on, in my opinion. It's not for EP, it's to make sure that you're moving at the speed that your DPS can catch up to. So think about it. It's actually important to have a DPS measurement add-on in case you thought it's all just for the boys to see how well they're doing and to tell others about it. It's not about that at all anymore. Over here we have chat frame. Chat frame, nothing to say about. It's in the top, so in the bottom left, tucked in, often hidden behind my logo that I use for my little videos. Over here we have experience bars at the bottom. We have the bags at the bottom right, and the controls, the general controls, stacked here on the bottom right. I use standard also bar 5 and bar 4 just for Hearthstone, for mounts, for some very secondary spells such as heroism, let's say, or such as resurrection spells, or some other supplementary click on abilities such as Hearthstone. So that's how I do. I tuck them out there. Map is in the top right corner, and objectives, collapsible objectives thing. I wish we could change its scale, but we cannot. Again, that's a shame. I wish we could. In the standard UI, are here stacked on the right. Final thing to mention are the talking heads. I wish we could also scale talking heads, and that is probably one thing that Blizzard could massively still introduce and improve our lives with, because oversized talking heads somewhere front and center are of no interest to me. I don't know, maybe for you it is, for me it's not. It's not an immersion thing, and if you would like further immersion and further sub-optimization, you can download something like Immersion add-on that I heard of, but I'm not an expert on. So that's talking head. You could have it in the center. For me, the sooner the talking head disappears and it's kind of out of field of view, for me it works better. That's how I am positioning myself. All right. Final thing to mention here is the placement of party frames. Okay, so party frames, first of all, I am using raid style party frames because they have they, in my opinion, make better use of space. They make better use of space. They are a lot more neat and condensed, and I'm using horizontal layout as well. I don't think, I mean, you could tuck in somewhere the vertical one, but for me, it also nicely sits here front and center. Let me also demonstrate to you, while we're talking about party frames, let me show you raid frames. Raid frames for DPS are tucked in on somewhere there, also raid style frames, obviously on the left. Needless to say why. For healer, the only difference that there would be is that party frames are above my action bar number 1, closer to my field of view, because I am healing. That's ultimately what I'm doing. And the raid frames are also somewhere around here for my healer, because I also want to see what's going on, but I want to also see my frames close by. And that is it, my friends. That is my UI. That's how I play, at the very least. It kind of allows me to see everything that I need to see, as well feel in control of my character properly, as well as not miss anything going on the screen. As far as, final thing that I'm going to say to you, quick list of add-ons. We just spoke about this. I am using, so let's just go here into the add-ons and very quickly take a look at. I use Deadly Boss mods. Deadly Boss mods everyone should have, not just tanks. I think it is good to tell you to get out of crap. And for tanks, it's absolutely irreplaceable. Deadly Boss mods is a fantastic add-on. You should have it. You should absolutely have some kind of damage meter, as I already said. As DPS, yes, to make sure that you're adequate and not just a leech, or not just being carried, you know, like, do your job, mate. So that's good. I just installed Dragon Riding Glyph Finder. I literally just installed it, so I haven't even made use of it yet. It's a temporary measure. It's just to earn that mount that you get from collecting of all glyphs. I use Plater add-on because in the combat that helps see the health of the enemies a little bit better. For me personally, I like it. It's not critical, but I like it. I like to install TomTom, Arrow, and Coordinates add-on. That's just kind of comes from years and years and years of playing World of Warcraft. People get away without it, but I like it. And as I already said, front and center, absolute favorite is Weak Auras. It's so versatile. I do not know how people live without Weak Auras. Was it helpful? If it was, please quickly give me a like so that more people can see this video. YouTube algorithm is a very simple but at the same time rather ruthless thing. If you leave without leaving me a like, YouTube algorithm doesn't know if you liked it, and you're not helping me, and you're not helping others who might benefit from this very simple guide. So please do give me a quick like and subscribe for more from me. New videos are coming to you at this stage of early expansion like twice a week. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.